podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me straight out of Compton, it's your co-host, Nick Richardson.
And you know the fuck what, man? I have no Vaseline.
Ooh, it's going to be rough.
I need that
We
out here.
are talking rap beefs. I was almost going to say classic rap beefs, but some of these are far from classic. We're just talking some rap beefs throughout history, some whack. We're covering the whole spectrum, whack to great. So we've got a couple whack, we've got a couple kind of middle ground, and then we've got a couple just like absolutely top tier ones.
Some
the only thing
slapping beefs.
Oh yeah, definitely slapping beefs. Like Rocky out there.
Yeah.
No, you didn't get that?
No, I get it.
Punches yeah.
I had a
but just in case the listeners didn't get it, you know. We will not be covering Notorious B.I.G. versus Tupac. We did a whole episode on Notorious B.I.G. sometime in 2018.
19.
Go listen to that. Or 2019. Go listen to that instead.
Yeah, it's actually
we went pretty deep into Biggie and Pac there, so I don't think we need to revisit that now because we'd just say the same things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Biggie's better.
Biggie's better. That's what we settled on. So you guys know, I mean, that's fact that we established. So, fuck.
Yeah. So we're going to run through, we have 8 different beefs. We're going to go back and forth with who introduces it and kind of talks about it. And we're going to start at the wackest and work our way up to the best.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because we want to get these whack ones out of the way first.
Yeah, because they're fucking whack.
They're whack. So speaking of whack, let's start right at the beginning.
Let's start with a whack attack. Let's
whack, 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 whack. No.
Whack attack.
Bow Wow versus Soulja Boy.
The best of the best. Let me just give it a slow golf clap because, sir, this is not just a classic. It's classy.
Oh yeah, this was one that I followed at the time because I've always really liked Bow Wow, and
you have always really liked Bow Wow.
I have, and I'll always put him out there. And when I was 13, Lil Bow Wow, like we're the same age, so I started listening to Lil Bow Wow when he was 13. I just kind of grew with him, and he's not great, and I get that, but I'll ride for him whenever. So in 2009, he and Soulja Boy went at it, and it was very entertaining to watch. I didn't care who was winning or doing better. It was just a very funny thing to see. It started in February of 2009. They had just, in December of 2008, they had just recorded a song together, Marco Polo, which, great jam. Great summer jam. Marco Polo. It's a great song. Check it out. It's not very good.
No.
So Soulja Boy uploads a video to his YouTube account after buying a new Lamborghini and issued a challenge to Bow Wow to race him for his car. Fine.
Oh,
great.
Fuck. He's like, bro, you were in the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
You gotta win this car.
Well, yeah, he was. Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. That still counts.
So Bow Wow took umbrage with this to Soulja Boy's remarks. He filmed a clip of himself in his own Lamborghini, disparaging Soulja Boy's own pricey car before issuing his own challenge back on Soulja Boy to race him, which, like, if somebody challenges you to a race, you can't be like, no, I challenge you to a race.
Bitch.
You said the same thing.
Pretty much in the same car, too. Like, my car's better.
Again, this was super entertaining to watch. It might have started a little earlier because there was like an interview with Soulja Boy where he claimed Nas had killed hip hop, and Bow Wow then released a freestyle with the line, "I would never disrespect Nas, I'm not Soulja Boy." So like Bow Wow kind of called him out there, but it really started with the uploading of the videos.
Dude, this something I learned is these rap beefs start over the dumbest
shit. Yes.
Dumb
absolutely.
As fuck.
And yeah, we'll be covering the gamut of dumb shit that starts rap battles. So this one, there wasn't a whole lot of rapping involved in this beef.
No, but neither of them
there were a couple of freestyles on YouTube. Bow Wow is pretty good when he wants to be. Like if he puts the time in and tries to be, he can be pretty good. Soulja Boy's not.
No, Soulja Boy's not.
But this was mostly like a YouTube talking battle. There were maybe 2 freestyle. All of the videos are gone from YouTube as far as I could tell. every like article that I read on it like had links to videos that none of the links worked anymore. So it's kind of been erased from existence. But so this wasn't so much of a rap beef. It was shitty YouTube video beef. The wackest insult I heard is not even an insult. Soldier Boy could not pronounce Gallardo, which it's a Lamborghini Gallardo, Gallardo. It's Italian. And throughout his video challenging Bow Wow, he kept calling it a Galargo with a hard G in there, which doesn't exist in the actual word.
That's what everybody says.
I've heard it. Well, I've heard it as Gallardo with a D, but not. He was saying Galargo with a G, Galargo.
See, I feel like I've heard that in other rap songs, but when I see
it's a
like
Gallardo, Gallardo.
Oh.
So they pronounce the L's. You know, they don't accent the L's, but they say it with a D. So he just kept like 15 times throughout his video said Galargo. Really sounded stupid. And so Bow Wow calls him out on his next video on that, which it was just funny to see him there. And then Bow Wow's just like, you can't even pronounce it. You don't deserve to drive one of these.
You dumb bitch.
So Soulja Boy's initial response after Bow Wow came back at him was he was saying that Bow Wow's Lambo was actually rented, not owned by Bow Wow, which I guess this is the original Bow Wow challenge.
I was about to say, dude, that might have some credence.
It's not the first time. Well, it would have been the first time. But yeah, in more recent memory, you know, Bow Wow's been known to lie about his status in things, which, you know, whatever.
Let's clarify here. That dude has been busted 2 times that I know of, and I don't even follow it closely. One, standing on his tippy toes next to a taller woman, instead of just being like, you know, I'm short, dog. I'm going to live with it because I'm rich. And then the other
stand on my wallet.
Yeah.
I think he has a line, stand on my wallet, I'd be taller than Shaq. So, like, just do that, Bow Wow.
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck would you even buy a private plane or anything like that, a private jet? That's just a super big waste of money. But saying you're flying a private jet and then flying business commercial class, commercial, that's a bold-faced lie.
That's funny. So yeah, it's not, you know, there's a history of Bow Wow with maybe not being, but from my knowledge of Bow Wow, he's driven Lamborghinis like since he could drive. Like that was his thing. And like he's been making music since he was 10. I think he has enough money to buy a Lamborghini.
I'd hope so. And
at that point, because like he was still only like 18, he couldn't have, or I guess he was like 20. He couldn't have pissed it all away yet.
Oh,
no. By now he could have when he's riding commercial and taking pictures of private jets, but you know, whatever. So Bow Wow responds to that one in his video with like his actual pink slip, which he flashes so fast you can't read it, obviously.
See, here it is.
Inside his house, and then he kind of walks around and points out all the other cool shit that he owns, like he's on MTV Cribs. But he's not on MTV Cribs.
That's an ocelot, man. It pisses everywhere. I don't give a fuck.
So then we get Soulja Boy coming out. This is the beginning of Twitter too. Like I think this is why I followed it so much, because it's early Twitter days. I was an early adapter of Twitter. I'm following both of them on Twitter, so I see all this stuff going on Twitter because not a lot of people were using Twitter at the time. So Soulja Boy on Twitter, #ListenBitch, add Chris Brown and Bow Wow followers together, and you still ain't halfway fucking with me, LOL. But all right, cool. I mean, yeah, Bow Wow's been around a lot longer than you, Soulja Boy, and way better at like just talent and things.
Yeah, there were 2 Soulja Boy songs that I can remember. I don't remember any Bow Wow songs, but I remember Like Mike, and that's what really matters.
I think like on my whole listing of music, which is 30,000 songs or something, you know, I probably have 6 Soulja Boy songs and probably 30 Bow Wow songs. So
you are fucking up from your man Soulja Boy.
So, you know, then Bow Wow says the only reason Soulja Boy is even in rap is because of him, which, I mean, true.
Is that true?
Yeah. Like, Bow Wow paved the way for any young rapper rapping, right?
Agree to disagree on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Soulja Boy would exist if Lil Bow Wow didn't exist?
Fuck yeah, because as long as there's dumb teenagers, there'll be dumb rappers like
Yeah,
Soulja
but
Boy.
somebody had to be the first dumb teenager to rap to other dumb teenagers.
See, wasn't it so? How did Soulja Boy come up? Wasn't it YouTube?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was one of the first
Yeah, with that
YouTube
cranked
stars.
at, yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember that was like our theme song for my freshman year in high school on the football
God.
team. Because we had this one kid that was like
I guess I
6'9"
yeah.
and very loud. And you'd always be like, yo! And then just destroy kids.
Was it Ya Bitch Ya?
I mean, maybe.
We liked, my friends and I liked that song. We just run around yelling Ya Bitch Ya at each other. Soulja Boy was good for like memeable choruses, you know? He was a good meme rapper. I'll give him that.
His shorts were top fucking notch.
So let's talk about how it ended, who actually won. I gotta say no one really won this. It just like kind of fizzled out because, again, I'm pretty sure I was the only person paying attention to this rap beef.
Yeah, I mean, probably their moms and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
other
Like,
than the two
yeah,
of them and their immediate family and me and my other friend, like we were the only ones paying attention. And we were just paying attention to make fun of it because it was hilarious every time one of them would upload a new video to watch. It was one of those things that like you could tell they were just trying to promote themselves because they both had albums coming up and they didn't really care about hurting each other's feelings or anything. They were just clearly like, I bet if we start going after each other, people will buy more of our albums. I don't think it worked.
I mean, someone had to buy them.
I bought the Bow Wow one. I'll say that.
There you go.
Well, I downloaded the Bow Wow one.
Oh my god. I hope you know I already called the cops.
I didn't say it legally. I said I downloaded it.
Back then, no one downloaded shit legally. Are you serious? It would take like 9 days.
If I had to pick a winner, it's probably Bow Wow. Just one, because I like him better, and two, because at this point in our life, I feel like he's more relevant than Soulja Boy.
Agreed.
So looking back at it 10 years later, like if you said something about Soulja Boy, it's a punchline. I mean, Bow Wow is for the most part too, but like Bow Wow's still on TV. He's been in movies. He's been in shows. He's still kind of making music. Soulja Boy has done like literally nothing since 2011.
No, man, he came out with that game system that literally was like a carbon copy of the Switch, wasn't it? Or the PSP or something.
It looked like a PSP, but like, have you ever used the Wish app?
Yes.
Have you ever seen like they advertise like the 256 video games in one, and it's always a picture of Mario on it, and you're like, oh, I can get this for $12 and play Mario handheld.
Yeah.
And it's not actually. I bought one of those. It's not actually that. That's what Soulja Boy's console was, or his video game system. So I mean, it was one of those with his name on it.
He's an entrepreneur. It was like the Soulja Boy. Get it?
Yeah.
As in, I get it. I'm like a 28-year-old calling myself a boy.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you, Calvin? Do you, Calvin?
Yeah, I get it. I get it, Nick.
Just making sure.
If anybody else has any other thoughts on who won, Bow Wow or Soulja Boy, if anyone else actually paid attention to it, hit us on Twitter at APA something at alone_podcast.
I was gonna say, did you forget that?
I got it. It's just alone. You need to change your Twitter handle to just alone_, and I'll get it every time then.
And then I'll just change it to @alone, and I'll say it with a tear in my eye every time.
All right, I don't have anything else to say on Bow Wow and Soulja Boy. They're both mostly irrelevant. Bow Wow's on like a BET reality show right now, and that's it. So he's the winner by default.
Damn, that channel still exists. That's crazy.
As far as I know.
Huh. Yeah. All right. I mean, I'll go with that.
All right. What do you got for your first whack beef?
Dude, this one is really stupid.
Oh, yeah.
This is back in the sweet old days of 2004. And that's Nelly versus Chingy. The Band-Aid versus a guy named Chingy. Yeah. Right there. All right, both those guys are basically the same person in my book. Well,
I mean, Country Grammar? Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion about Country Grammar. You think it's the best rap song of all time, don't you?
The best rap album, yes.
Okay. But anyways.
I wouldn't say Country Grammar, the song, is the best rap song, but it's pretty fucking good.
No, we're just splitting hairs, bro.
it's way better than Right There or Holiday Inn.
I don't know. I'm chilling at the Holiday Inn.
It's true with Snoop
probably
Dogg
not.
and Ludacris.
I've never stayed at a Holiday Inn, and this is why.
You haven't stayed just so you say nothing chilling at the Holiday Inn.
Exactly, bro. But anyway, Chingy, he was an up and comer in St. Louis, which is pretty close to
You can
home.
find May in St. Louis.
Yeah, in St. Louis. But if you say it like that, you might get punched in the mouth around there. Just, I mean, it's
Or if you're
finicky.
Chingy.
Or if you're Chingy. I mean, Chingy versus Nelly like epitomizes the finickiness of St. Louis. But he was an up and comer. Nelly took him under his wing like a straight up leader, like a G. And Chingy, of course, was just like, bro, you're taking all the limelight. I'm not getting the fame and the respect that I deserve. It had nothing to do with the fact Chingy fucking sucked. Nothing at all. And that Nelly dropped like 2 of the hottest albums of all fucking time. And then, yeah, Nelly thought he wasn't getting the same respect from Chingy for bringing him into the game. So it was basically like a respect versus respect match. Like, yada, yada.
Except only one of them actually, at that point in 2004, 5-ish, only one of them really deserved any respect.
And that was Nelly.
Chingy had already faded. Like, Chingy was hot in like 03, and then he had already faded by 05.
I remember the name Chingy, but I don't really remember shit about Chingy.
I had both his first 2 albums. I bought them, actually, like actual CDs. The first
FBI,
one,
if you're listening.
the first one, I liked. I liked most of the songs on it, but again, it's 2003. I'm 14 years old. 2002, maybe.
You have
Yeah,
a bad taste
it was
in
like
music,
8th
is what you're
grade.
saying.
Yeah, right. 13, 14 years old, not great taste. And then I bought the second one, and I liked like 3 songs on it. And even that, it was still like bad taste songs, but like they were kind of bangers, but they weren't good music.
Yeah,
if that
that's
makes
fair.
sense.
I mean, I remember Suit and Sweat coming out. I don't remember when those came out exactly, but
That was 04, 05. It was my junior year of high school. I remember that.
I remember I got both those CDs, and then I flew down to see my mom.
I
And
only got
accidentally-
Sweat. I
Oh,
didn't get
fuck,
Suit.
dude.
I
I
didn't
got
want the
both.
slow jams.
Slow Jams was that shit. My stepsister listened to that like crazy, so I mean it was kind of something I was just used to. But I left them on a goddamn airplane by accident, and back
Ugh.
then, CDs were like $19.95, and I was a kid, so it was like, oh man, I'm fucking out. But that should say something. If I own those 2 albums and I literally have never fucking had a single song in my library by Chingy, I think that kind of says a lot. But this was some petty shit. This was like just barely a step above Soulja Boy and Bow Wow. Mostly for the fact that
Only because
Nelly,
they were a little more relevant.
yeah, and the fact that Nelly didn't really respond all that much. Like I felt like it was more a Chihuahua biting at a fucking Siberian Husky.
Yeah,
And he was just like,
Chingy punching up and Nelly just being like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean some of the shit that Chingy was going in on, like Nelly's a liar. He's a goddamn fucking liar. Mostly because he said it just
I
like
like
that,
that
folks.
voice.
Just like it. But Nelly claimed the phrase dirty, or however the fuck you say it. It was
Right.
dirty. But Chingy was out here saying that they'd been saying it forever, so Nelly shouldn't have a claim to it. But I would have never heard of it. I'm guessing most of modern, middle America would have never heard of anyone saying it like that, if not for Nelly. So why the fuck
No,
does Chingy care?
absolutely not. Because Hot and Her came before Right There,
That's
I
true.
believe.
And that was a banger.
Yeah, Hot and Her, absolutely a bang. I mean, Right There was too,
Hot
for
and
what
Her's
it was.
way
But
more of a banger.
yeah, Hot and Her is. I mean, I'm just kidding. Like Jason.
Dude, they
beat
play that at every school dance all the way through senior year.
I went to a Catholic school, so we weren't asking anyone to take off all their clothes at school dances.
Oh hell no! I went to a public school and people were basically doing it on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I was not one of those people. I was like, this is disrespectful and disgusting.
We're at school.
Yeah.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
That's why I wore 4 pairs of underwear, because I'm not a fucking center. And then I told on all of them.
That guy and that guy and that girl and that guy over there.
Look at him just having so much fun listening to Nelly. Oh my
Can you
God.
believe it? He's from the dirty South.
From the dirty South. He's from St. Louis. That's not the South. We're the North. Guy.
No, it's the dirty South.
The dirty
It's not
South.
actually the South. It's the dirty South.
It's like the skim milk of the South.
There you go.
It's lying about being the South. Oh,
So are there any actual insults thrown? I know of one. I wanted to see if you picked this up in your research.
I mean, I didn't really find a whole lot of insults other than Chingy kept calling Nelly a fucking liar.
Yeah, it didn't. This was another one that didn't happen a lot on the mic. It was like Chingy in interviews talking a lot of shit. And this one I didn't even realize was going on until like 2006. I caught this thing on VH1 that's like going over rap battles, right? Basically what we're doing right now, or rap beefs. And it mentioned Nelly and Chingy, so I sat and watched it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. So there's one song on Sweat. I don't remember what song it is off the top of my head, but Nelly directly calls out Chingy. And that's like the only track from either of them that actually directly calls either one of them out. And that's why these ones are whack, because they don't happen, on wax. When we get to some of the better ones, we'll see that there are just punches being thrown
left and
back and
right.
forth on the mic, which is great.
Oh, hell yeah.
So he says, I like the way you do that right there. Just remember why you do that right there. So he's basically saying what you said is like, okay, you can do what you're doing, but remember that it was me that brought St. Louis to the forefront.
Bitch.
So you, Chingy, need to respect me and stop going in interviews and calling me a little bitch.
Yeah, no shit.
So how did this one end? Who would you claim the champion if you could claim one? Pretty sure we know the answer.
I'm going to have to go with Nelly. I mean, he mostly punked out Chingy throughout just with the status in the game. And, he had a cousin who named MJ going with Michael Jordan. They got to be fucking related, the proximity and everything. But he basically raised Chingy since he was 6. And, there was a little talking and they resolved the problem. And then in 2006, I'm guessing his terms of the you lose, piece of paper or whatever he signed. Chingy
there's got to be
go
paperwork to end all these, right?
I mean, that's right here. Got this paperwork right here for you to sign, bud. But he had to go out and basically publicly admit, the beef is done. It's all good. And it's all good.
Something I learned through the research here. They always end the beef by like one of them is on some random ass interview and it's just like, he won. It's over.
Yeah, we settled shit. It was chill. Yeah. We're cool. I mean, he's the godfather of my son. We're all right now.
I remember why I do that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean, as Chingy was just bad. And like he was like fine in his first album, then he just went downhill real quick. So I can imagine where Nelly went downhill fast once he went downhill, but those first 2 albums are like certified bangers any day of the week.
Dude, he had like 7 or 8 years that he was really man. We just hired a guy at work a couple weeks ago. The guy we already fired, but that dude listened to Nelly all day, every day. I shit you not. Every time I saw his phone, there's fucking Nelly in the background.
I mean, so Country Grammar, we've discussed at length. Nellyville, great album. Air Force One's top tier song any day of the week.
Hell
Hot
yeah.
and Her, we discussed. Sweatsuit holds up. It's not great, but it holds up. Sweatsuit is on level with like Chingy's first album, and it's probably even better than that still.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bangers on those albums.
Yeah. And then like that's when after that he kind of started fizzling out a little bit, but he could still bring it when he needed to.
I mean, he's from the dirty South.
Yeah. I don't know that Chingy could ever bring it if he needed to.
His name's Chingy. Sounds like a little bitch.
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is our last of the whack beefs. 50 Cent versus Rick Ross in 2008 through like it's still going on.
That doesn't surprise me.
these two have to grasp at whatever they can to stay relevant. So March 2008, 50 Cent compliments Rick Ross on his #1 album during an interview, but also warns him not to stand too close to Fat Joe, who was feuding with him and G-Unit at the time, alluding that the friend of my enemy is an enemy. During the 2008 BET Awards, Rick Ross saw 50 Cent and did not like the way he looked at him. 50 Cent would later claim that he doesn't remember Rick Ross even being at the award show. So, boom, beef.
Boom, we got beef. 50 is great at beef. Let me just say that much.
He really is, but he didn't really bring his A game. Well, he had some other struggles mixed into this since this one went on so long. But like as far as whackness of these go, I listened to there were 2 diss tracks and then the rest of it happened in like interviews and ancillary shit. So Rick Ross, tried to start off with Mafia Music, which was actually a song on his real album, and then 50 Cent comes in response called Officer Ricky. That was just like a freestyle that he put out on his website.
Officer Ricky.
50 Cent is just such a better rapper than Rick Ross, and like even in the small sample, it shows through.
Ross 50 Cent isn't even that good.
Well, Get Rich or Die Trying is very good.
It's a great album.
We'll get to that when we get to that
shit.
We're not on Get Rich or Die Trying yet. And 2008, like this is 50 Cent is pretty much completely fallen off, and Rick Ross is kind of at the top of his game right now.
He really was at the time.
Rick Ross gave that track everything he could, and it's still absolute garbage. I do not like Rick Ross. I think he's terrible. But on 50's track, Officer Ricky, he takes time to address Mafia Music, Ross's song. He plays on Ross's terrible rhyming scheme where he often rhymes Ross with boss again, and then Ross, and then he throws cost in there, and then boss again. Like his rhymes aren't very unique or intelligent.
No, he's dumb.
And he takes time to take shots at DJ Khaled and Lil Wayne. And so just to kind of further put my point home with Rick Ross on Mafia Music, he rhymes roof with roof in the first verse, and then he follows that up by stacking on top of roof rhyming with roof, proof, then proof again in the next line. So in his first
Rick Ross.
5 lines, he rhymes roof, roof, proof, proof.
I'm Rick Ross, the fucking boss. Check out my sauce.
You're at a loss.
Yeah, you're at a loss.
You don't know what it costs.
It's because I'm a boss. He has one good verse that I've ever fucking liked, and it was on a Kanye album.
Oh, which one's that?
I don't.
Was it on Monster? I think he was on Monster, wasn't he? I'd have to go back.
No, my Dark and Beautiful Twisted Fantasy or whatever the fuck it's called.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking the song is Monster though.
It might be. I don't recall, but that's a decent verse, and it's like 6 minutes into the song.
Oh no, it's "Devil in a Blue Dress," I think, is the song. It doesn't matter. We're not here
Devil
talking
in a
about
Red Dress.
Red Dress. That might be it. So he later, and this is the line that I want to point out is truly whack. He says, "I love to pay bills, can't wait to pay rent. Curtis Jackson baby mama ain't asking for a cent."
I mean,
that's really bad.
What? Huh?
Rick Ross out here just talking about how he loves to pay all his bills on time.
I'm a responsible citizen.
Right at the beginning of the month. And then, he calls out, he's saying that 50 Cent's ex doesn't want anything to do with 50 Cent anymore. He's like her. He's not asking for a cent or 50 Cent, just like Curtis Jackson baby mom. Curtis Jackson is 50 Cent. It's really convoluted and starts off real stupid with the "I love to pay bills" bit.
Yeah, no shit. I think that really threw me off. Otherwise, I might have been like, that has a little depth to it, but it's almost borderline so dumb. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough. So just some highlights because it's been going on so long. So I want to go over some highlights. From in 2009 after Mafia Music had dropped. January 29th, 50 Cent responds to Ross with Officer Ricky, and it says, back in 2008, details in a photo surfaced of Ross's 18-month stint as a correctional officer, which is why 50 titled the song Officer Ricky. So he's playing off of this, like, Rick Ross thinks he's this drug mafioso, but really he was a correction officer for some time, which is the opposite of a drug mafioso.
Just about. I mean, that or being a judge. Like, those were pretty close together.
Yeah. So then January 30th, the next day, Rick Ross calls into Angela Yee's lip service radio show on Shade 45 and spoke on 50's Officer Ricky. He didn't hold back his thoughts, saying that he was in disbelief that this was the song he came back with. He even gave 50 48 hours to come back with something stronger. Like, I listen to both these songs. Officer Ricky destroys whatever Rick Ross was doing. I'm sorry.
Well, Rick Ross is using the Trump method. I'm not
Yeah.
bad. He is bad. That is terrible. It's the worst song I've ever heard.
He's terrible. Ever. You got to come up with something better. I don't have to come up with something better. You did a bad job. You need to come up with something better.
Yeah, mine's amazing as it is. I didn't say, you never said you didn't like mine. Bitch.
So then January 31st, 2009, 50 Cent responds with a video upload entitled Warning Shot. He mentions how he doesn't even remember seeing Ross at the BET Awards, but he accepts the beef. So it's on now. January 31st, 2009, officially beef has started. He also states that Ross could be doing this for publicity, but he chose the wrong adversary and that he planned to ruin his life for the fun of it.
Because I'm also doing this for publicity.
Absolutely. So this is what I like. 50 also releases the first Officer Ricky cartoon and says he would continue to release them weekly on Saturdays. This dude out here making a Saturday morning cartoon in a rap
I'm
beef.
saying 50 is like the best when it comes to beefs, man.
And I'm going to skim over it, but like he kept doing it every week. I'm not going to mention all the times that he released them, but like as I was going through this timeline, it was like, and 50 releases the next episode, and 50 releases. So he kept going on with this cartoon that he created, which is great.
He's a man of his fucking word.
So, and here's where it gets serious. March 12th, 2009 still, 50 Cent releases a trailer for a sex tape that features Rick Ross's child's mother, Listonia Levinston. 50 bought the tape from Listonia's former boyfriend after they broke up. March 17th, 50 keeps his promise and releases the 13-minute sex tape. Like that's harsh.
That is pretty bogus.
Releasing a sex tape of somebody else's ex with another dude.
And the fact it only lasted 13 minutes. So I mean, that says a lot about
well, it wasn't
Mr. Ross.
Well, it wasn't her with Rick Ross. It was a sex tape of her and a different boyfriend.
That's what I'm saying. There's no sex tape of Rick Ross and her, but there's a sex tape of her and this fella. So I'm going to go out and assume that, his 13 minutes.
She wasn't making sex tapes with him. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, and he's really fat. So
as he releases this, he also overdubs with his own voice, adding his own commentary, not only attacking Ross, but also demeaning and degrading Listonia.
Are you fucking serious? He actually did that shit? Oh my god. Can you still find this out there?
Probably not, because there was a lawsuit around it. And stuff.
I was gonna say I would
lost the lawsuit. Yeah,
I might have to fucking watch that because that'd be fucking hilarious. Look at this fat piece of shit. Look at him.
So April 20th, Ross releases the trailer for song Cold Blood. The video was released the next day, depicting a mock funeral for 50. Then May 20th, Tia Kemp, who's another one of Ross's ex-girlfriends and baby mamas, released a tell-all book surrounding her life and relationship with Rick Ross, titled Diary Deeper Than Rap, Clarity, Truth, and Exposure. And like 50 Cent backed her the whole time. Like she's promoting this book and doing everything. Like 50 Cent's like right over her shoulder. Like, yeah, get him.
This book is fucking great.
Oh, we're not done yet. That's only 2009. So 2010, 2011, we get some minor jabs thrown back and forth in interviews and things like that. Ross suffers a couple seizures. And 50 Cent's kind of nice about it. He's like, he needs to get his health in order, blah, blah, blah. He's not going to attack the man who's sick. Good for 50.
Fuck that. I would have gone after Rick Ross so hard. Oh, man.
Fat piece of shit having seizures.
Yeah, how do you like that? It's the most exercise you've gotten in weeks, fat boy. Nah, I wouldn't say that. I feel like an asshole just saying it. Even in jest.
So we come to September 29th, 2012. Double MG's Gunplay. Double MG is Rick Ross's rap label, if anyone cares. MMG's Gunplay and members of 50 Cent's entourage got into a minor scuffle backstage at the BET Awards. Rick Ross wasn't around at the time. October 10th, 50 Cent is spotted bowling in Gunplay's MMG chain that he lost during the altercation at the BET Awards. So somebody snatched his chain and 50 Cent's out there wearing it, and also wearing it in a music video.
Damn. That's pretty, that's ballsy.
Moving into 2013, January 28th, 50 Cent mocks Rick Ross on Twitter the day after his car crashed into a building while being shot at. Fat boy hit the building. It looks staged to me. No bullet holes in the car. So there you go. Crash your car into a building. 50's got something to say. Have a seizure? No worries.
That shit looks fake to me, dog. I don't even know. That shit looks fake.
So then, November 5th, during a visit with the Breakfast Club, Rick Ross calls the 50 beef buffoonery. So he's over it at this point, which, again, this is Rick Ross's career in 2013 is nothing to write home about anymore.
Yeah, dude,
And then nothing really happens in 2014. 2015, they come back. TMZ obtains a lawsuit that shows 50 Cent is attempting to sue Rick Ross, blaming him for leaking the sex tape and that he simply posted it to his website. He demands that any money must be paid. Ross and his camp should handle the bulk of it. Basically, this stemmed from Ross's ex suing 50 Cent. So now 50 Cent's basically suing Rick Ross, saying it's his fault that it got released. So if he loses the suit to the ex, Ross would actually have to pay. None of that panned out. 50 Cent lost the lawsuit to the ex and had to pay her a lot of money.
Yeah, a shit ton of money because I'm pretty sure he was broke after this.
And then in October, during a string of interviews while promoting his new album, Rick Ross discussed his rivalry with 50 Cent at almost every stop, commenting on 50's ongoing bankruptcy issues. Get rich or die trying, and now you bankrupt, he said during an interview with Angie Martinez. And then December 10th, 50 Cent abruptly stops his interview with P. Dice, a former Remy boy, to mock Ross's album sales for Black Market. 34,000. Is that a rock or a brick, he says. Then 2016, we get some more. January, Rick Ross tells Rolling Stone that he's the biggest L 50 Cent ever took, which at this point, I don't know that 50 Cent's taken the L.
No. Fuck no.
I mean, he went bankrupt, though, so there's that.
I mean,
it's hard.
I never heard Rick Ross talking about how much money. Dude wears tracksuits all the time. He's like a fucking slob.
That's true. And then the last thing I've got is in January, 50 responds to the Rolling Stone interview with a post on Instagram where a hyena is carrying the head of a severed deer with the caption, "When it's all said and done, I will have his head. I said I was going to talk less and do more this year. Watch it play." Then, like, nothing really happened.
I was going to say, that's like the most violent thing he's insinuated so far 9 years after it started.
Well, and so it's still pretty much ongoing. It never really ended. It's gotten heated at times. I mean, throwing people's exes and sex tapes out there, that's some pretty hard shit. But it never really felt like it mattered the way, some of the ones later on this list mattered as far as rap goes, because like Rick Ross is just garbage and 50 Cent was already on his way out of being relevant.
Yeah.
So it always felt like it was kind of in the background.
Well, I mean, when life of a rap artist is as short as a running back in the NFL, in regards to relevancy, they come and go pretty quickly.
And I'd like to say 51 because like he's just better, and he definitely had the upper hand early on. But at the same time, it's hard not to say that Ross won, because throughout this whole time, 50 Cent went bankrupt. He had to pay out all these damages to Ross's ex for the sex tape. And like Rick Ross's label kept growing and growing and signing better and better rappers. Like they signed Meek Mill, they signed Wale. They've got a lot of good people on that rap label, whereas 50 Cent is going downhill, and Rick Ross as a rapper is not necessarily going uphill, but his label at least is, and that's money in his pocket. I think 50 is better, but Ross probably came out on top.
I don't know. I'm guessing 50 has a large stake in Shady Records. Or Aftermath, whatever.
No, that's all Eminem's. He tried to do I think he tried to make his own. G-Unit Radio or some shit.
No, Eminem was part of G-Unit too. Or he helped start G-Unit.
Well, yeah, he helped start them.
I don't know. I'm sure he's invested in both.
Vitamin water, man.
Vitamin water.
All right, so let's move on to our middle ground beef. So we got two here. We each got one. You start us out.
I'm gonna move through this beef pretty quickly.
It's not a very deep one.
No. This was way back in the time before time, aka 2003, and it was a couple rappers from the third coast, as they say. That was a term I came across, which I thought was pretty neat. It's T.I. versus Lil Flip, and I don't know who the fuck Lil Flip is.
You know Lil Flip? Game over.
Never really knew who the fuck Lil Flip was.
Flip.
I'm just that little bit that you just said made me want to scratch my face, just hard.
You weren't watching enough BET in 2002, man.
I I was probably still watching Dragon Ball Z, but anyway, Ti took this shit way too far. He was going hard as fuck
Well,
about this
this
from the get go.
this is another one where Ti is a really really good rapper and Little Flip is a really really not good rapper.
No, and Ti just goes fucking bananas. He's not as clever or as good as 50 is when it comes to dissing Lil Flip.
No.
But I guess Lil Flip was basically saying, tell Ti it's game over during a show in Atlanta when, Lil Flip was asking the crowd who's the king of the South, and they started yelling Ti at him.
Yeah.
when Ti was in fucking
That's fair.
jail. You got to be bad if your crowd's just like, yeah, Ti fucking rules from jail.
I mean, he's in Atlanta, which is Ti's city.
Yeah.
And Ti had already claimed himself king of the South, being from Atlanta. And Lil Flip is from Houston, which isn't the same kind of South. Like, it's the South, but Houston and Atlanta aren't the same thing.
Houston and Atlanta are two entirely different worlds.
Yeah. Lil Flip can't go into Atlanta and expect a warm welcome in the middle of a beef with, one of the best rappers out of Atlanta.
Well, I mean, that's how dumb this motherfucker is. And I mean, I don't know, maybe that incited Ti to go absolutely bananas, but he spouted off these like anytime he was on television or being recorded in like an interview or something, he basically went after Lil Flip. Like some of the wackest shit. I took a specific like entire paragraph, but at the end of it is really where you see the whackness of Ti come out. And he goes, "Use a sucker, man. You sweet on the inside and even sweeter on the outside. I am not letting up on your ass, boy. You shouldn't have tried me, man. I gotta shut you down, pimp. You have been faking for entirely too long. The game over? Yes, the game is over. For you, that is." That shit is whack as fuck. Who says this?
Rough.
A supervillain? Like that's a goddamn. That's the Penguin in Gotham. Like,
it really is.
I'm saying, and Ti is anytime he got on the fucking mic, he was saying shit like that. Like he's sitting in his his jail cell because he was on work release for a lot of this, and sitting there like, yeah, that sounds tight. That sounds good. Yeah, game over. For you, that is, bitch.
Game over for you.
Yeah, exactly. Dang, and look at the size of my hands. They're huge.
Got him.
And I mean, Lil Flip, for his position, he really didn't do a whole lot. He didn't retaliate because I didn't think he had a medium to retaliate on. Like, he made music about it and, talked shit in interviews, but no one really cared.
No. This was another one that, like, I liked T.I. during this time, and I liked a couple things from Lil Flip at the time, and I didn't really know what was going on. It was another one that I caught on that VH1 special about rap beefs, and I was just like, oh, that was going on, and then I'd look into it, and I was like, okay, yeah, T.I. killed him. Okay.
Pretty much, and the ending of it is even funnier, because T.I. went on the radio, and he was basically like, I'm going to come to Lil Flip's neighborhood and expose him as a fraud. Because he said he lived in like Ohio or some shit. And then really soon after that, Lil Flip came out and said they had to sit down and talked and cleared the air.
Sign the paperwork.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's officially over.
And then it came out like a year later after T.I. posted a video of it that these motherfuckers apparently met up and just fought. So it's like, okay, with that context,
I don't know that I'd go fighting T.I.
I wouldn't go fucking fighting T.I. Yeah, fuck that.
He's small and like lean.
Those are the worst guys to fight.
Yeah.
Take it from a guy that's fought guys like that. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
They're wiry. They have long arms.
Yeah.
And I mean that hurts. But he went to jail. I don't remember Lil Flip going to jail.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Any motherfucker that goes to jail in my mind is immediately harder than motherfuckers that didn't go to jail. Even, well, not for tax fraud people.
Lil Flip rides around in a Lucky Charm Range Rover, as he would call it.
Yeah, I mean, T.I. was going bananas, blowing up pictures of Lil Flip in a leprechaun costume, because that's how he got noticed on like his first album or some shit.
Yeah, that was his gimmick when he first started, was like leprechauns and Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's
Four-leaf clovers.
That's dumb.
He tried to start a label called like Clover label or some shit like that. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm guessing everybody felt how I just felt, which was I just lost a year of my life listening to that sentence.
Go listen to Game Over by Lil Flip. It's a good song.
I'm gonna start this label. It's gonna be called the Clover label.
All right, so are we ready for my middle ground one?
Yeah, hit me.
All right, this one should be pretty quick too.
So we settled on T.I. winning that?
Yeah, T.I. won that.
Okay.
Do you know who Lil Flip is?
I mean, I do now. Thank you, Calvin.
Did you? Okay, T.I. won.
Exactly.
So mine is Drake versus Meek Mill. And I fucked this up because I really wanted to do Drake's beef with Pusha T, where Pusha T calls out Drake for literally hiding a child. But I thought that it would, because they kind of happened at the like one right after the other. And I don't really listen to Drake or Meek Mill or Pusha T in the current day and age. So it was like one of these things on the periphery. So I thought it was the beef with Meek Mill that led to that line, and didn't realize I was too far gone into this research to that it was somebody else. So next time, if we do Rap Beefs Part 2, Drake vs. Pusha T will be on there, so I can talk about that.
Dang.
So this one started July 22nd, 2015 with a Meek Mill tweet. He says, "Stop comparing Drake to me too. He don't write his own raps," which that's some uncalled for shit. You can't just call people out for not writing their own raps.
Yeah, it's pretty bogus. That was like at the time one of the worst insults, next to
Well, was it though? Because so Meek says, if he would have known that Drake didn't write his verse on Meek Mill's latest album, Dreams Worth More Than Money, he would have taken off Drake's verse. Other artists, backed up Meek Mill's claim that Drake uses ghostwriters. Specifically, he uses this guy named Quentin Miller. But he also credits him, so it's not a ghostwriter if he credited him on the album. It's a whole mess of like this intricate, how do you actually write songs thing. And a lot of other artists chimed in, like Roscoe Dash was out there, Lupe Fiasco, Nicki Minaj. A lot of people were talking about like whether or not they use writers and how. Really, it's just kind of part of the game and not really that big of a deal.
It is if you make it.
Also, nobody wants to be called out on it, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone wants to be, entirely responsible for their success. Like, I felt like at the time, if you didn't freestyle all your shit, then you were a booty rapper, or like that was like the culture at the time. So I mean, that was a pretty big insult to say. Not only do you have to write your shit, someone else writes your shit.
Exactly. So the two quickly took it off Twitter and got onto the mics, which is great. I like it when they're actually rapping in the rap beefs rather than on Twitter or YouTube videos or interviews, whatever.
I like cartoons. They're pretty cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll still ride for the 50 Cent Officer Ricky cartoon.
Oh, hell yeah.
They each released several diss tracks aimed at one another. Drake starts out with Charged Up, waits like a week, and nothing comes out. So then he releases back to back with probably the best line of the whole thing. Because Meek Mill had been on stage he's dating Nicki Minaj at the time. He's on stage at one of her concerts on like her world tour, and Drake calls him out. He goes, "Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know that you got to be a thug for her. This ain't what she meant when she told you to open up more."
Damn.
Which, yeah, that's rough.
Ghostwriter or not, that's fire. And well, Drake, Drake delivers too.
So on when he first released Charged Up, Meek Mill didn't respond with a track right away, but he did respond on Twitter. He said something. He's like, "I could tell you wrote that though," because Charged Up was kind of not very good, but Back to Back was really good. So like Meek Mill called him out. He's like, "I can tell you wrote that shitty track." So then Drake follows up with Back to Back, and then Meek Mill finally responds with a song titled "Wanna Know," and then Drake performs another song he calls 3P at the OVO Fest. And then Drake and Future release a joint mixtape called "What a Time to Be Alive" with several disses aimed at Meek Mill between both Drake and Future. And then finally Meek Mill releases the 4 out of 4 EP with pretty much all of them just taking shots at Drake.
Is there 4 songs?
I think so.
And they all 4 take shots at Drake, 4 out of 4. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
There it is.
Very clever, Meek Mill.
So this ended when they publicly reconciled in September 2018, right before the Pusha T one started, when Drake brought Meek Mill onto the stage with him in Boston while Drake was on tour and had him, rap a verse with him off of a collaboration they had done together. I think I got to give this one to Drake.
I mean, Drake's still around.
Exactly. Like, Meek Mill's still around, but nobody gives a shit about him, right?
Hasn't he been in jail? Like, hasn't he been in jail for a while?
He was. No, he's out. He was in for like less than a year, I think.
Oh, I thought he went back to jail several times. Like,
No, I don't think so.
Meek was like a big thing for a while.
Yeah, but it was only like, it was one of those things like when T.I. went to jail in 2008 and when Lil Wayne went to jail in 2008, like where they were in for like 9 months and then out. But Drake had better lines. He had more stuff to throw at Meek Mill, and like you said, he's actually still more culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Meek Mill didn't stand a chance in this. He's dating Nicki Minaj at the time, who everyone had already assumed had previously had a relationship with Drake at some point. And Drake is a better rapper, and Nicki Minaj is a better rapper. Like, this is just too easy for Drake to take shots at Meek Mill, right?
And Nicki Minaj fucking sucks. So,
But she's better than Meek Mill.
Oh,
or at least she was.
100%. Still is.
Yeah.
I don't know if she really still makes music, but still.
Oh, she does. She's got a beef out there with Cardi B. She had a beef with Iggy Azalea. All those will be on part 2.
All the big bootied women.
Yeah.
I think
part 2 will just be female rap beefs.
I'm game for that. Fucking, where's Missy Elliott?
Ooh, I don't know that Missy Elliott's ever beefed with anyone.
She's too good.
Everybody just like respects her. Like, when a new female rapper comes on, they always like Nicki Minaj did it, Cardi B did it. Like, they all take shots at Lil Kim, but like nobody ever takes shots at Missy Elliott.
Because they know Missy Elliott would fucking murder them.
That's true.
It'd be over.
Elliott's crazy. She's got the crazy eyes for sure.
Fuck yeah.
All right, so we got 3 legit ones to go over. Let's try and run through them fast, but also relish in them because they're awesome. You get the first one.
We could spend more time relishing because these are a lot more well known than any of the previous beasts we've spoken of.
I mean, Bow Wow vs. Soulja Boy wasn't well known.
I mean,
everybody didn't take sides in the Nelly Chingy battle of 2004.
I still have my Nelly
Team Nelly
2004 shirt in my closet. It's real dirty. It's dirty, boy.
Team Nelly 04.
Yeah. And then on the back is a picture of Chingy in jail, where he belongs.
With one of those, like the circle and the red line through his face.
Yeah. Don't put Chingy in jail.
It says not there.
He's not there. He's at his mommy's house.
All right, so let's talk some legit rap beefs. Again, no Tupac and Biggie.
This was actually before my time, but
before my time too. But it's up there as one of the top 5 classics easily.
Ooh, yeah, it's nasty. And that's NWA versus Ice Cube back in the ripe days of 1989, and it spans to about 1991 and beyond. But I'd really say it hit its pinnacle in 1991. So, I'm sure, Straight Outta Compton came out a couple years ago. So pretty much everyone's got, or at least they would be listening to this episode, has a refresher on, NWA.
That was how I knew about it. I didn't really know. I had listened to some Ice Cube stuff. I didn't really listen to NWA before I saw Straight Outta Compton, and like that, obviously they played a lot of the songs throughout the movie. So I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And I went and downloaded a bunch, and I got some of the earlier Ice Cube stuff that I hadn't listened to. And Ice Cube really carried NWA.
Oh, dude, Cube was nasty as fuck. He's a great lyricist, and he's fantastic.
MC Ren's good. Eazy-E's fine. Dr. Dre is fine.
Dre is booty. In his NWA fine. Days.
Yeah.
Ren and Cube definitely carried NWA.
Yeah. But once Cube is gone, like they couldn't carry themselves.
And it sucks that they didn't see that coming because they probably all would have been a lot richer. But Cube left NWA because he was feeling like he wasn't getting paid properly. Compared to Eazy-E.
Thanks a lot, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, fucking Jerry, punk bitch. And he left the group. He's going solo. He's striking out on his own. So NWA, the remaining members, put a diss in the album 100 Miles and Running. And, Cube obviously didn't really take too kindly to that.
Well, he left on kind of good terms.
Well, I mean, he left amicably because they understood that shit. Yeah.
Jerry Heller's a piece of shit, and he was not on good terms with Jerry Heller, but with the rest of NWA, like, he was fine.
Well, it's because he struck out and he was obviously better.
And he was way better.
Oh, way fucking better.
Let me just take a pause for a second. His son is actually a pretty good actor, too.
He's a great actor.
Well, he was really good at being Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. I've seen him in a couple other things, and he can hold his own.
Yeah, he's not bad at all. Cube's a decent actor, too.
Shit, what's Denzel Washington's son's name? John David Washington. But I would watch O'Shea Jackson Jr. in movies.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially if it's featured around him playing, Ice Cube.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
Question, though. Who came first? Ice Cube or Ice-T? Because that's Ice Cold. That's Ice Cold. Fucking Ice-T.
Ice-T, didn't he?
But anyway, so NWA put out this booty-ass track, I'm guessing at the direction of fucking Jerry. And then, as retaliation, Q put out the fucking nastiest song on the face of the earth. Like I've listened to it a couple times. I heard it as a kid from my cousin. He's like, listen to this shit, man. It's unbelievable. You should hear this shit.
Well, I think this is the point where we have to have the requisite what's the better diss track? No Vaseline or
No Vaseline. Big time.
I think so too.
And I mean, he there was enough time, so there was basically like a year and a half, I want to say, between songs. But No Vaseline came out, and it was stunningly clear who the fuck he was calling out. There was zero question about it. It was fucking loud, proud, and really well done. Like, I'm not really a fan of it.
It's a banger of a song.
It's a banger of a song.
Even if you take the NWA context out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got Cube's touch all fucking over it. And I mean, one of the best insults from it, or one of the best insults from the time in his rapping, and it's so Cube, is you looking like straight bozos. I saw it coming. That's why I went solo. You got jealous when I got my own company, but I'm a man and I ain't nobody humping me. Like that's just fucking wacky, dude. That's wacky as shit. No one's rapping like that anymore, and I thought that was a fucking good insult. I thought that was a good insult. He didn't cuss once.
Very simple rhyme scheme.
Exactly.
But he uses, they're not like $10 words. They're like $7 words, right?
Not even. They're not
crisp simple
$2 bill words.
You're looking like $2 bill words. That's a good way. They're rare words, but they're easy.
Word. Yeah. He used the B word.
Bozo.
It's so rough. But I mean, the way his
that's what I have to say to my kid, like when I'm being really stupid and we don't want our kids to say like stupid and dumb, like call people stupid and dumb. We say, oh, we're being a bozo. So like Ice Cube's out here doing that in a diss track in 1991.
Being a bozo.
Shout out Ice Cube.
So, I mean, I think with that insult, Cube fucking wins it. Hands down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did NWA even exist after that?
Well, there was that, and then I think Cube made a very good point with most of his raps. Like he was attacking Jerry and Eazy-E for basically taking more money than the rest of the crew. And Dre ended up leaving NWA, and they basically dissolved after that.
Right. Well, and then Eazy shortly after contracted AIDS, and that all went through. So
I mean, he's fucking dead. There's that. Dre is a billionaire, and Cube was in 21 and 22 Jump Street. So,
and Are We There Yet?
Which was not good.
I mean, but really, he's also in Boys in the Hood. He's also started built the Friday franchise, built the Barbershop franchise.
When you say it like that, it's like, yeah, he's pretty fucking relevant. I think I gotta say Dre is a better businessman, but I think Cube is more talented in the show industry.
Dre was better as a producer and running a label. and he figured out how to build a shitty headphone and put a logo on it and charge people a lot of money,
Yeah,
and then
200
sell
bucks.
that logo to Apple, which is great. Like you said, that's great business moves. Ice Cube is a better entertainer than anyone else
That's a better way to
from
say it.
NWA.
He's a better entertainer.
So he's relevant from that standpoint, and Dre is relevant from a behind the scenes business standpoint. But NWA as a group, like Ice Cube killed them. Like
Yeah.
nobody even knows who. I didn't know who MC Ren was before I watched Straight Outta Compton. Nobody does. From that was probably born after 1985.
Yeah, absolutely not. But I knew who Ice Cube was.
Right. Exactly. But I think Cube wins. Like Cube eviscerated NWA. He made Dr. Dre realize that shit is wrong and he needs to move on. And Dre moved on to doing better things. Like The Chronic is still a classic album.
Fuck
The Chronic
yeah.
2001 has some good songs on it. He's got some good verses on like Eminem and 50 Cent tracks. I don't know that I'd be all in. He released a full album titled Compton in like 2015. It was right before Straight Outta Compton came out.
Yeah, Kendrick
was
Lamar
okay.
had a song on there.
Yeah,
it's
it was
alright.
it was very feature heavy. Kendrick Lamar was on it a lot. But the stuff that Dre was doing on it was not very good.
No, I mean he's was never the greatest rapper. Like if
No,
he had a good entourage, then
Right.
he did very well.
And if you look at The Chronic and The Chronic 2001, the best songs are ones
Featured.
featuring Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was gonna say is the best songs on there are featuring Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
Right. So Ice Cube's the winner.
Ice Cube's the winner.
All right, so let's move on to, I think it's my favorite one on the list because I liked both of these rappers at the time. It's hard to say right now, but once I introduce it,
Yeah,
you're gonna think less of me.
Well,
50 Cent versus Ja Rule / Murder Inc.
Ja
I really liked Ja
Rule,
Rule
man.
in his early days.
In his early days, he was pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of collaborations that were really good too.
Mm-hmm. But this was the seminal beef of kind of my formative rap years. Jay-Z and Nas was already pretty much over by the time I got really into rap, but this came in like right as I started. Ja Rule, Rule 336 was one of the first rap albums that I had.
No shit.
Besides Lil Bow Wow, Beware of Dog, obviously.
Was that your first rap album?
Lil Bow Wow?
Yeah.
Trying to think. It's close. Country Grammar would be close. Rule 336 would be close. Yeah, I don't, Blueprint was there right around the same time. One of those.
Shit.
2001 was a good year, man.
Fuck yeah, it was. Except for, the whole terrorist attack things.
Well, yeah.
So
2001 was a good year for rap, man.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for the clarification.
So yeah, started really in 1999. Ja Rule was robbed for his chain at gunpoint in Southside Jamaica, Queens, while he was filming a music video. According to 50 Cent, Ja Rule was incensed after seeing 50 at a club with the man who robbed him. 50 would later go on to claim, a friend of mine robbed Ja Rule. That's how the beef originally started. My man robbed him for a chain, and then this guy named Brown came and got the chain back for Ja. Later, Ja saw me in the club with the kid who robbed him. I went over to say what's up to Ja, and he acted like he had a problem with me, but I'm not the one who robbed him. Ja Rule claims that the bad blood between them stemmed from 50 being snubbed by the Murder Inc. crew during a video shoot for a single Murder for Life. So we got conflicting stories there, which is a great start to any rap beef.
Oh hell yeah.
So just some highlights. As 50 Cent slowly chips away at Ja Rule's entire existence through the next 4 years.
He's so
until
good
Get Rich or Die Trying is released.
Oh, if you don't mention this, I'm gonna have to. But keep going.
I don't know. So 50 Cent first releases Life's on the Line, which just continually shoots at Ja Rule and Murder Inc. Ja Rule and 50 Cent get into a fight in Atlanta at a nightclub where they were both booked to perform, which, like, club promoter, why are you booking these two guys together?
Because you want to see them fight. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
that's
50
true.
Cent was fucking jacked. I got my money on him for sure.
And then 50 Cent gets stabbed while recording at the Hit Factory studio when Ja and his crew visited 50 and an altercation broke out. Ja Rule and Black Child, another Murder Inc. crew member, were arrested after this. Black Child took credit for the stabbing of 50, which
50
that's
is
just like a
fucking unkillable, dude. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
absolutely. And Black Child taking credit, that's just like a look, Ja Rule, you're the one with the career.
Yeah.
You need to stay out. Yeah,
All
I
right,
stabbed him.
homeboy.
I got him.
I want all the ramen I can eat. You fucking hear me?
It's like when in the NBA sometimes like two people are right around somebody who gets fouled going up for a layup, and you know your teammate's got 4 fouls, so you kind of put your hand up as like I'm the one who fouled him, so you can take that foul for him, so your other dude doesn't foul out. That's what Black Child was doing here.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you know the
Uh,
other guy gives you a better chance to win.
exactly. Well, you just don't want anybody fouling out if they don't have to.
Yeah. There's that.
So then after that, 50 Cent releases Wanksta, which again, straight shot at Ja Rule.
Mhm.
50 Cent releases I Smell Pussy, which later showed up on the G Unit album. And then 50 Cent releases Back Down, which was later on Get Rich or Die Tryin'. Ja Rule responded at one time after Back Down released that he releases a song titled Loose Change. And this is where Ja Rule tries to bring in Dr. Dre and Eminem and Busta Rhymes, and he even mentions Eminem's daughter on the track, which is not
Ooh,
a good idea.
no.
Like,
Nope.
out of nowhere. Let's just call out Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Busta Rhymes. Let's get them in.
Yeah, fuck it.
So, 50 Eminem and Busta Rhymes remix Tupac's classic Hail Mary, and just all three go after Ja Rule.
Fucking wreck him.
Absolutely destroy him. Eminem at around the same time releases a diss track titled Monkey See, Monkey Do, which is taking shots at Ja Rule, Fat Joe, basically everybody in Murder Inc. also. So now 50's on his own attack of Ja Rule, and Eminem is also on his own attack of Ja Rule. Busta Rhymes, just on the Hail Mary remix, didn't do much. Ja Rule releases a track called Guess Who Shot You, which was not very good. And then Ja Rule releases his next album because in 2001, 2002, he had released Rule 336 in 2001, Veni Vidi Vici in 99, and then Rule 336 in 2001, and then Pain is Love in 2002. All sold like hotcakes, like everybody loved them. Great albums. A lot of collabs with Jennifer Lopez at the time Ja Rule was doing.
Oh, yeah.
So then in 03, he releases Blood in My Eye with the single track Clap Back, which is straight shot at 50 and Eminem. And it's panned critically and does not sell well, and Ja Rule is officially just like done rapping now.
Didn't he make a song with Nelly Furtado?
Ja Rule?
Yeah. Or am I
I
thinking
don't
of
know.
someone else?
Timbaland did.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was thinking someone else.
No, yeah, and Ja Rule just was not relevant. I mean, he appeared in The Fast and the Furious, but I guess that would have been before he was destroyed there.
Well, I mean, 50 went out of his way to destroy this cat.
Well, so for Best Insult, I've got the whole first verse of Back Down, which this all happened before Get Rich or Die Tryin' was released, and there are like 4 songs on Get Rich or Die Tryin' that are just shots at Ja Rule and Murder Inc. And then there's a couple more on the G Unit album that came out later in the year. I don't remember the title of it right now, but it was a 50 Lloyd Banks and Young Buck put out an album together as a G Unit album.
Not memorable.
Still a good one. I like it. Stunt 101.
Yeah.
Gotta have fun with your rap sometimes, Nick.
Yeah.
So, Best Insult comes from 50 Cent. Clearly not from Ja Rule because he did nothing. Like the shot at Eminem about Haley is low key pretty good, but you're just asking for yourself to get destroyed.
Yeah, that's fucking uncalled for. That's like Myles Garrett hitting old boy Mason Rudolph over the head with a helmet. It's like, yeah, that's just not called for. That's fucked up.
So I went with the whole first verse of Back Down because I couldn't like single out 1 or 2 lines. And this, he just pretty much ends Ja Rule and all of Murder Inc. right off the bat in this song. I have replaced all mentions of the N-word with the word dude. Just gonna throw that out there.
Hell yeah.
So 50 goes, any living thing that cannot coexist with the kid, him, must cease existing. Little dude, now listen. Your mammy, your pappy, that bitch you chasing, your little dirty ass kids, I'll fucking erase them. Your success is not enough. You want to be hard. Knowing that you get knocked, you get fucked in the yard. Use a Pop-Tart, sweetheart. You soft in the middle. I eat you for breakfast. Then watch. The watch was an exchange for your necklace. So he's going back to when they snatched his necklace. And your boss is a bitch. If he could, he would. Sell his soul for cheap. Trade his life to be shug. You can buy cars, but you can't buy respect in the hood. Maybe I'm so disrespectful because to me you're a mystery. I know dudes from your hood. You have no history. Never poked nothing, never popped nothing. Dude, stop frontin'. Jay put you on. X made you hot. Now you run around like you some big shot. Haha, pussy.
Yeah, 50.
And 50 Cent does a much better job of delivering that than I did.
He had some shit. Dude, he has a way. Like that voice of his, man. He could hit some shit.
Yeah.
When he was on.
I may have been able to do better if I had the beat behind me. I was kind of feeling it, but I'm not going to go there.
You're not going to get a clip of me doing it. I'm going to say that right now.
Did I mention the thing that you wanted to talk about?
You did not.
Oh, what do you got that I missed?
So this is yet again evidence of 50 Cent's ability to beef with people. 50 Cent used to buy out like the first 4 rows.
Oh yeah.
At Ja Rule concerts, just so this motherfucker would have empty seats. Like
that happened recently, and he photoshopped himself. Yeah, this was.
I thought it was in the midst of their.
This happened like in the last 5 years, I want to say. I read that because it's so far away from the main beef, I didn't include it. But yeah, that like 50 Cent keeps jabbing him every once in a while, which is great.
I mean, I think that's fucking hilarious. Like, how shitty can you get, man? He must have spent 20 G's maybe on like 4 full rows.
Well, this is after he went bankrupt too.
Yeah, no shit. So he's putting a lot on the line so he can make Ja Rule look like a bitch. And I mean, it's probably silent for Ja Rule. Like, past those 4 lines, what can you really see? Not a whole lot, I'm guessing.
So during an interview with Hot 97 in September 2013, Ja Rule admitted that he and Murder Inc. had lost the war with 50 Cent.
Oh, no.
No shit.
Dude. Even if you fucking lose and it's obvious to everyone, you shouldn't admit it. God.
Yeah, 50 Cent, like, far and away won this, right?
You know 50 Cent was just like, hey, like, I fucking won that shit. You know, he's gonna put that on his tombstone now.
Yeah.
You're lucky, Ja Rule.
He's gonna buy himself, like, a big-ass tombstone, and then there's gonna be, like, a little one next to it with, like, shit coming out of 50 cents and somehow landing on the little one that he bought that says Ja Rule on it. That's what 50 Cent's going to do on his deathbed.
He's going to do something wacky, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for it, and I can't wait.
Well, so I was reading this book, and it's really interesting. It's called Off to Be the Wizard, and there's basically this guy who, like, knows a little computer programming and, like, does a little hacking for fun, finds this file in this old repository that basically runs the Matrix. They live in a simulation, and he finds the file that runs it and can adjust all this shit. Anyway, he gets in trouble, and he decides that if he gets in trouble, he's going to go back to medieval times and be a wizard.
What the fuck's this called?
It's called Off to Be the Wizard.
I'm gonna have to check.
It's a whole series. There's like 6 books. I've only read the first one so far. So anyway, he goes back in time, and he's clearly not the first one that's found this file and had the same idea. There's like 25 other wizards living in medieval England trying to be wizards, right?
I'm Merlin Jr.
One of them is pretending to be Merlin and, like, just does all this gaudy shit. Builds a huge gold castle, builds a gold statue of himself, and one of the guys who, like, really dislikes the guy who's taken on the persona of Merlin has basically, he's written into the program that whenever he takes a shit into his toilet, it goes to this big gaudy gold statue that Merlin built and, like, explodes out the top of Merlin's hat, like all the shit that he just shit. That's what 50 Cent's gonna do to Ja Rule.
If he could, he
yes.
absolutely fucking would.
So there's this big gaudy gold statue of Merlin that just once a day has shit all over it. Out of nowhere.
Randomly too. Just like,
right. The thing I liked about this one versus the others that I've covered is that other than the stabbing and the robbings, it all took place on the mic. And like I listed 5 tracks that 50 Cent put out, and Ja Rule had like 3. And every single one of 50's was miles better than
fire.
Even Ja's best one.
But I mean, when you say other than the stabbing,
that's true.
That's pretty rough. That's the roughest we've come across so far.
And lately, like 50 Cent has really like he just jabs Ja Rule whenever he can.
I mean, why the fuck not? He's really good at it.
I'm surprised that he didn't do more around the whole failure of Fyre Festival.
Dude, there's a documentary coming. I am sure of it. It's probably got 50 narrating in the background. Look at this dumb motherfucker. You see?
He's taken he uses the same narration that he did on the sex tape from Rick Ross. Yeah.
Look at this shit. Look at that shit.
Yep.
When 50 gets going, he's funny as fuck.
He ended Ja Rule's career and ended Murder Inc. Like Ashanti wasn't doing anything after. Fat Joe didn't really do much after. Like Murder Inc. just died on the table. I mean, with, as I said, the 2003 album Blood in My Eye, critically panned, sold terribly. And this is Ja Rule still at the height of his power. Like he's in movies. He just came off 2 great albums. And by the time this album dropped, everyone could see like the toll that 50 took on him. Like he just wasn't the same person after what 50 did to him.
Well, I mean, Ashanti and Fat Joe were balling at the time too.
Right. Like Murder Inc. was huge between 2000 and 2003.
That speaks volumes to how good 50 was at the time. Like he fell off dramatically after his first 2 albums.
And he hadn't even dropped his album yet.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I'm saying 50 used to be 50 caliber.
I believe we mentioned Get Rich or Die Trying on the top 10 rap albums episode. All right, let's end it with probably the second best rap beef ever.
This was rap beef I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to.
Like same with me, I missed it. I came in after it was pretty much over.
I came in after it was over, well after it was over. And I've also, I'm just going to throw this out there. I was never really a huge Jay-Z or Nas fan. Spoiler.
Man, the Blueprint.
That's who we're talking about, baby.
Blueprint's so good, though. And there's some good shots at Nas on the Blueprint, which I didn't never realize until like 10 years later. I'm listening to him and I'm like, oh, now I get it.
I get that now. You just got to grow up a little bit, and then you get it. But I mean, back in the late 90s, back in 96, fucking Nas, who was at the absolute height of his power at the time, I'd say, he failed to show up for a recording session with Jay-Z on the song Bring It On.
For the movie Bring It On.
Bring It On.
Not
really.
For
the movie? Yeah, whatever.
It wasn't.
But Jay-Z, I have heard from the grapevine and other rumors that he's more of a punctual. He's very much a businessman. And if you're wasting time, or especially his time, he's not gonna fucking like that.
Yeah.
So he took one of Nas's lines and sampled it basically and made it sound better. And
right.
So Nas obviously is really fucking pissed off. So this one went really rapid fire, and in the interest of ending this episode before everyone listening turns 150, I'm gonna go through it pretty fucking quickly. So Nas
probably should only did 6 beef. Next time, if we do a part 2, we'll only do 6, not 8.
Yes.
We shot for the moon with 8.
Yeah, we shot for the moon, and I'm gonna say we almost did 10. I had 10 in me, and then
if we wanted it to be 3 hours, then that would have been good.
Exactly. So Nas responded very quickly. So these are 2 titans of the industry. Jay-Z wasn't quite at the height of his power. Like he's not known as the greatest.
He's a bit of an up and comer. 96. I think he was probably on his second album around that time.
He's definitely an up and comer, and kind of like a lot of people looked at him on par with Biggie, or like in the same circle.
Well, least. I mean, he was featured on Biggie songs at the time, and Biggie was featured on his, and this is like coming on his first album. And, so he's on album 2 or 3 around this time, and everybody knew he was going to be great. So He was an up and comer, but everybody knew what he had in him.
I mean, this was more towards the end of Nas's career. Like Nas's career spanned
Well,
quite a bit of time, but this was
this
after like
this might have been a little bit of the reason for that too.
I'd say so,
These rap
especially
beefs seem to
because
take it out of the loser of them.
no shit. And I'll speak to that a little later, but you can both these guys are really good lyricists. They're really deep and in depth, and they speak to a lot of things with very minimal words. And it really exploded when Nas responded a month later on the album. It was written with Lex with TV sets the minimum, which is, an ambiguous line to say the least. But at the time, Jay-Z drove a Lexus, and Nas later came out and admitted that was a direct shot at Jay-Z, because if Jay-Z was driving a Lexus, he had to do better. Like that was the bare minimum, because he was better than Jay-Z, or that's what he tried to portray.
Right.
And I mean, after that, shit just starts popping off like crazy. They respond to each other just about every chance they get. Um, I pulled two insults that I really liked, one from each, and one from Jay-Z was basically nasty as fuck, and the way he delivers it, he calls him a has-been, and he says, "You got one hot album every 10-year average." And the way
Yep.
he delivered it was just like, ooh, fuck.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
on Takeover on the Blueprint.
yeah. There you go.
Really good.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, when he said it and the way he said it, and just the point in time and everything surrounding it, is very, very relevant. And then Nas had a great line. I think
Well, because
really is more
hold on,
in
before you
depth.
move on to Nas, I'm just thinking about this because he goes through, like, I'm trying to put it into context of the song. He goes through and like names every album. And he's like, this one, it's okay. And then he's like, and then you had Illmatic, that was dope. That's a one hot album every 10-year average, and that's like, he went through his whole discography. Is like, yeah, that's all trash except Illmatic. Like, Illmatic was good. Way to go.
Well, I mean, Illmatic's known as one of the best albums of all time, especially in rap. Like if you look up top 20 rap albums
Yeah,
of all time,
it wasn't
Illmatic's
on either
probably
of our
up there.
lists.
Well, we have weird taste.
Well, and we're not Nas fans.
We're not Nas.
He was
But
already
Nas,
dead by the time we were listening to rap music because Jay-Z fucking killed him.
exactly. Nas was and that says a lot, because Nas was a damn good lyricist. He was
Mm-hmm.
he was really deep, and what I'm about to say on the song, from the song Ether by Nas, or Ether, or whatever the fuck
Ether,
you
yeah.
want to call it, which is a straight diss track.
Yep.
I'm also gonna replace the N word with the word dude, because I am
It's a good
progressive.
idea.
So Nas responds with, "Y'all dudes deal with emotions like bitches. What's sad is I love you because you're my brother. You traded your soul for riches." And that's a fire ass insult, because everyone's heard of the story of the devil at the crossroads trading your soul for the talent. And I mean, already those rumors, or kind of that whisper was going on about Jay-Z, because he came out so hot, so fire, and he stayed so hot and so fire. So that was a pretty fucking nasty fucking insult, I
mean,
gotta
yeah,
say.
he hit him with some truth bombs there, but at the same time, let's think about it here in 2020. Would you rather be hanging out with Jay-Z or Nas?
So I mean, you know the answer to that for several reasons. Um, the beef ended in 2005, thank God. And many thought, it was a tour that Jay-Z was throwing, and many thought that it was a return tour for Jay-Z basically, and they thought he was going to be coming for his enemies, but instead he reconciled with Nas, which was kind of a surprise, I would say. I mean, it surprised me. And they performed Dead Presidents and The World Is Yours, and together. And then Jay-Z declared, "All that beef shit is done. We had our fun. Let's get this money." And that leads me into my last one of who won this shit. And "Let's get this money" personifies exactly what the fuck Jay-Z did.
Yeah.
He won this shit because Nas put out a couple more booty albums, I want to say. And I mean, Jay-Z's a billionaire with a B, like B as in boy, billionaire. That's fucking bananas. And he's also married to Beyonce,
It's another B word.
the sexiest woman on the face of the fucking
He's
planet.
also best friends with Kanye West.
He's
Is
also
that a thing?
best friends with
And
the best producer, Kanye West.
and he's also other best friends with Barack Obama.
I mean, dude's a fucking G. I mean, he owns
He takes trips to Cuba
partial.
with Barack and Michelle Obama. Like, come on.
That's fucking G as fuck. He's married to Beyonce.
Yeah, you said
Out
that
of
already.
all the, I mean, dude, out of all the things that he has in his life, like he's a partial owner of sports teams. He invests in a ton of money.
Well, he's
helps
not a
his
partial owner
communities.
anymore because
He sold his stake in the
he
Nets,
sold
didn't he?
it so he could run his own very lucrative sports agency.
Exactly. And I mean, dude's a brilliant businessman. He's helping he's like the Black Bill Gates, in my opinion. The Bill and Melinda Gates. They just haven't really got going quite yet. They don't have enough time to expand like Bill and Melinda Gates does.
I mean, he's had some bad ideas too. Like Tidal's a bad idea, and it was a bad idea. Well, no, I know.
Bad ideas, but dude, he married Beyonce. Let me just,
that helps.
I got to throw that out there.
She's
again.
not going
Beyonce
anywhere.
is one of the most talented.
Did he marry Beyonce? I think I heard that somewhere.
Pretty sure that I think they got married. I think they.
And he's got a daughter, Blue Ivy.
Yeah, I don't know about the name, but
that's fine.
That's what happens when you let Beyonce choose the name. He was like, I don't fucking.
And we talked about how, like, with NWA and Ice Cube, like, Ice Cube is the better entertainer, but Dr. Dre is the mogul, right? And became a mogul. Ice Cube couldn't really become a mogul.
Way with them.
Jay-Z is both of those things. Like, he is still entertaining as hell. He can't act, but he's entertaining as hell to watch, to perform, to listen to.
I'm gonna go with listen to. He's one of the ugliest dudes on the face of the earth. Can't believe he is married.
He's got some
Beyonce.
good music videos out there, though.
He does have
some. He's very smart. Talent. He's very talented, and he's got the business side of it down too. Like he makes good. Tidal was a bad plan, but it worked to a certain extent. And I mean, Kanye and Beyonce are a big part of it. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, if you look at it, I think everything points to the fact that Jay-Z is. If you strip rap away, Jay-Z is still a brilliant individual. Dude is not dumb by any extent. And I think it expands to more than business, like marriage to Beyonce.
Is he married to Beyonce?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
And Nas, you can't say any of those things about him.
No,
he's not a better entertainer. He's not a mogul. He's not married to Beyonce. He did marry Khalees for like a month.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but Nas.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that song.
He got a tattoo of her on his arm, and then she divorced him like a week later.
That's what's up. He brought his milkshake to the yard, and she was like, "Damn right, it's better."
I gotta make sure it's Khalees before I go on record with that.
You're already on record, bro. It's out there.
I know. But I can still fix it.
Maybe we'll see. But I mean, Nas is irrelevant.
Yes, it was Khalees.
In every regard, except for the fact he's on those best rappers of all time lists, whereas Jay-Z is usually number 1 or in the top 3 at least, and he's still relevant. And he's a billionaire. Beyonce.
Nas on his best day was one of the best rappers out there. Jay-Z on his worst day is still one of the best rappers out there. So
I think the ease in which Jay-Z raps too, like you hear those stories that Jay-Z pretty much just freestyles everything. And
I watched the documentary when he did the Black Album. They did a documentary surrounding it with the tour and the album coming out and everything like that. And like he'd just be sitting there and like music would start playing. He'd just like start going. And it's like, what the hell?
I mean, and
it was genius. So, like a lot of people can sit there and like, I'm Rick Ross and I'm a boss and I do things at a loss. Like anybody can do that, but like he's coming up with real actual good things. He's sitting there with Kanye West and Rick Rubin and like they're just going off and can't stop because his mind is just constantly going and putting things together. Eminem's the same way. I've seen interviews with Eminem where he's just like, I can rhyme anything with anything and like it doesn't matter. I'll just be sitting there. He's got notebooks with scribbles all over them with just rhymes that don't make any sense in any context. But they're there, so when he wants to bring them into a context, he can.
I mean, I think you said the perfect word, genius. well, while he's not a genius mathematician or a genius architect or, a genius
No, but
doctor or
this takes a
anything.
level of genius to be as great as these people are.
Absolutely. And the way Jay-Z is such a great lyricist and sometimes it feels like when he's hot, like the shit he's spitting, every line means 10 different things and
Right.
means one
There's
thing
layers
at
to
the
it.
same time. That's what makes it so fucking good, and the way it just kind of rolls off the tongue. And I found when Jay-Z raps, like, he doesn't even necessarily fucking rhyme. Like,
No.
it's brilliant, and they work together. Like, he knows the synapses of words, and he can combine them in a way that is pleasing to the ear, and he does a fucking great job at that. Whereas Nas is just really good at rhyming in a high vocabulary sense of the word.
Yes, I agree. So, major winners from this discussion: Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Bow Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'll
Obviously.
agree with all three of those.
I think that's all we've got on rap beefs.
I think that's all we got, man.
Thank you for joining us. We may revisit rap beefs if we can think of, some more that are actually interesting to do and that we want to talk about. We may revisit this down the road, and maybe we'll even include Tupac and Biggie at that time. Who knows?
All females, man. I'm saying that might be a good one.
We can look it up, but it's going to be Nicki Minaj versus a lot of people.
Let us know what you think at Alone
if you
_
like
podcast
that.
and Alone at APA Summit.
Yes, there you go. If you like this, hit us on Twitter. Let us know. We'll be there. We promise eventually we'll get these shows back closer to an hour. We just had a lot to talk about lately.
We've had a lot to talk about, and to be honest, guys, who doesn't want an extra half hour of content? If
Exactly, because we're fucking awesome.
In an hour.
Or just like skip the first half hour when we're talking about Bow Wow and Nelly and Chingy. Like, skip that half hour.
That's fair.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. All the music for Podcast About Something is provided by Those Cats.
You guys stay sassy.
Stay classy.